Today, we are living in the era of the modern city, monument to the achievements of the industrial age. An increase in population combined with an expanding economy has created thousands of new jobs and has brought about tremendous growth of business and industry. Yet, in the midst of unparalleled programs of expansion, the gnawing forces of blight and decay plague our surroundings. Dreary, confused sprawls of congestion and neglect etch deeper into the foundations of our metropolitan centers. Most American cities are growing rapidly, but without any real forethought or proper planning. For even within the shadows of our proudest buildings, there were once dirty alleys and scarred structures. Whether we look to communities in the East or to their counterparts in the West, the patterns and problems remain the same. Uncontrolled growth often results in deterioration and decay. Older buildings are neglected and become in need of repair. Neighborhoods that were once beautiful become slum regions. Public transportation, unable to cope with the rapid rate of expansion, is overcrowded and inconvenient. More and more automobiles add to the already existing traffic congestion. Pedestrians find it difficult to move about in the downtown areas. Houses are crowded together, leaving little space for people. The problems you see in these photographs may exist in your city. Fortunately, distressing conditions like these can be overcome. While we are rebuilding parts of our cities, new slums are forming faster than old ones are being cleared. There is a great need for a program to prevent as well as clear slums. Many areas can still be saved by rehabilitation. This requires not only government assistance, but full-scale local community programs to blend individual projects into an effective master plan. The name given to this total approach is urban renewal, and it stands for teamwork by citizens and government to end community slums and waste. One major American metropolis has accepted this challenge and is using form and design to bring comfort, convenience, and living space to its people. This is Philadelphia, birthplace of democracy, scene of the adoption of the Declaration of Independence, the signing of the Articles of Confederation, the writing of the Constitution of the United States. Today, this great and historic city is gaining a new importance as a showcase for urban renewal. It is enjoying a restoration of beauty and order where the best of the old is being blended with the dynamic new. The remarkable rebirth of this modern metropolis did not happen all at once. It is the result of many years of careful planning by architects, public and civic groups, government leaders, and with the support of individual citizens. Yet, not so many years ago, Philadelphia was faced with the same problems which plagued many of our cities. In the year 1682, William Penn, the visionary Quaker leader, selected the site of his green country town. Because of his imagination and foresight, Philadelphia became one of the first planned communities in the New World. He selected a plot of land between two rivers, the Delaware and Schuylkill, and carefully laid out the city's two main avenues, Market Street and Broad Street. At their intersection in the center of the city, he established a square and reserved it for a future public building. 4 additional squares were provided: Logan Square in the northwest, Franklin Square in the northeast, Washington Square in the southeast, and Rittenhouse Square in the southwest. All other streets were planned in straight lines, and the city began to grow in a definite pattern. To the northwest, a natural rise in the land became the site of a water reservoir. In time, a waterworks was constructed at the foot of the hill. A park also was established here. 7,000 acres of land set aside to provide the people of Philadelphia with an outdoor recreational area. As the city grew, William Penn's original plan continued to influence development. And in the late 1800s, City Hall was built in the square which had been reserved for it 200 years earlier. As part of a City Beautiful movement in the early 1900s, citizens demonstrated their interest in culture with the construction of a fine new art museum. It also serves as the terminus of a great new boulevard, the Benjamin Franklin Parkway. A number of buildings rose along this grand roadway, grouped about Logan Circle. The Free Library, the Benjamin Franklin Institute and Franklin Memorial, and the Municipal Court Building. This was an impressive beginning, but during the Great Economic Depression of the 1930s, there was a gradual halt in the building activity. Neighborhoods began to deteriorate and rot. Many citizens and business firms moved away from the unsightly areas. Then, in the 1940s, a group of earnest young men worked together in an effort to achieve a new city charter. It contained an important provision: the authorization of a city planning commission. Searching for a solution to the problems of the city, they found inspiration with the discovery of an interesting parallel in one of the most famous cities in the world, Rome. In the year 1585, from a confused sprawl of medieval buildings and the classic ruins of an earlier age, Pope Sixtus V created a master plan of power and strength to bring form and design to the city of Rome. He established 4 key points and marked them with tall, thin stone obelisks. These areas paralleled the 4 squares of William Penn's original plan for Philadelphia. Sixtus linked these points with great new highways running across the entire city. This basic design became a major influence in the rebuilding of Rome for hundreds of years. As an example, here is the old square in front of St. Peter's Church as Sixtus found it. He directed that an obelisk be placed in front of the medieval cathedral, which became the center of interest in the development of the square. "25 years later, the facade of St. Peter's was completed. A great oval colonnade was designed as a forecourt, centering on the obelisk, and today, this is known as one of the greatest architectural compositions in the world. Throughout Rome, this same basic plan was continued, with each area dominated by its own square, or piazza. Its buildings erected in a design around the obelisk. Much of the beauty of the Rome of today is the result of the foresight and vision of Pope Sixtus. Recognizing the similarity between the piazzas with their obelisks in Rome and the public squares in William Penn's original design, Philadelphia's planners began to apply this idea to bring form and design to their city. They started with the area surrounding Independence Hall. Here, conditions were deplorable. The most treasured of America's historic shrines had fallen into decay. These mementos of a nation which were conceived in liberty had lent luster to the city, and it was necessary that they be restored, preserved for our time and for the future. If these few acres could be brought to new life, they could provide the inspiration for redevelopment of the entire city. An effective yet simple plan was created which won quick acceptance. The area to the east of Independence Hall was established as a national park in which are preserved so many of the buildings that are part of a great American heritage. Among them are Carpenter's Hall, home of the First Continental Congress, the oldest bank in the United States, and the original Philadelphia Merchants Exchange. To complete the project, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania built a beautiful mall to the north. When this project was completed, the same design was applied to other parts of the old city. In a residential district adjoining Independence Hall were many other landmarks of interest and beauty. The Ship and Worcester House, built in 1752, was the scene of magnificent receptions and symbolized the hospitality of the 18th century. St. Mary's Church and Churchyard, site of the grave of Commodore Barry, the father of the United States Navy. It was important that these buildings be preserved for all the world to see. To link these structures, a greenway system was planned and built. Here, visitors can stroll through small parks along shrub-lined footpaths from one national shrine to another. The greenway system around Independence Mall is being extended throughout the old city. These walkways carry the countryside atmosphere deep into the residential area, adding beauty for all to enjoy. In the 1950s, redevelopment work, already underway, received further emphasis. The people were showing their enthusiasm by restoring their homes. Interested in bringing form and design to their city, distinguished local architects, including Oscar Stoneroff, Vincent Kling, and Roy Larson, worked with the City Planning Commission, enlarging upon earlier proposals for renewal of the old residential area. Volunteer groups from all walks of life got together to speed the redevelopment process. Many structures were cleared until gradually there emerged the familiar open space pattern that marks the remainder of the city. New buildings began to rise. In any plan of urban renewal, one of the most important aspects is to provide homes for people. This is a model of one of the largest housing projects, the Society Hill Apartment Towers, designed by prize-winning architect Yo Ming Pei. It includes 5 identical buildings. 3 of them are situated in a park-like area. Here, as in all of the city's redevelopment projects, funds are set aside to provide for works of art and statuary. The other two towers are located near Washington Square. Both groups connect with the now familiar Greenway pattern. To bring form and design to any city, considerable effort is required to translate plans into action. In Philadelphia, this is the responsibility of the Redevelopment Authority. It must plan in detail how to use an area and acquire the land so that the obsolete structures can be cleared. The land is then turned over to redevelopers and put to productive use. The authority is also responsible for finding homes for the relocation of families displaced by the renewal program and taking the necessary steps to prevent whole neighborhoods from deteriorating. This is done by clearing sections that have begun to show signs of neglect. In many instances, private industry assumes the responsibility of building entire new communities. As a case in point, Eastwick, the largest urban renewal project in the nation, is located in Philadelphia. This modern community of 10,000 homes is but one of several such projects all across the country, sponsored by Reynolds Metals Company. Utilizing the services of local architects, builders, and suppliers, this aluminum producer is creating new homes and business centers for sale to individual buyers. A city within a city, Eastwick is a symbol of Philadelphia's determination to satisfy within its borders the needs and desires of its citizens. In Philadelphia's overall renewal program, the traffic problem also had to be solved. The commercial community suffered from the stranglehold of vehicle congestion and outmoded transportation facilities, as do most of the large cities in the nation. A major step towards solving this problem was the elimination of an elevated railway structure in the heart of the downtown area, which made possible the construction of Penn Center. This is one of the largest single spaces at the core of an American city to become available for urban renewal in this century. It is the gateway to the downtown area and receives the main incoming automobile traffic to a transportation center and parking terminal. There is a daily influx of 20 to 30,000 people via the suburban railroad and a continual flow of subway and surface transit traffic. Penn Center is planned for the convenience of the people. The main pedestrian movement is along this esplanade, conveniently connected to the offices and shops of buildings on either side. The same design concept that has become characteristic of Philadelphia is evident here. There are openings from the lower level through to the sky at 3 very carefully planned locations. Below the street level, pedestrians are treated to the pleasure of sunlight and outdoors. Philadelphians eagerly look forward to continued progress in the rebuilding of their city. This goal is assured because of the work that has already been done, the support it has received, and the alert and aggressive leadership of the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. To explain the fundamental ideas that underlie Philadelphia's renewal program, here is Edmund N. Bacon, Executive Director of the Commission, member of the American Institute of Architects, and one of the foremost city planners in America.
The redevelopment of a significant part of a city presents an entirely different problem from that of designing an individual building or group of buildings. Here we must think in terms of a total design concept. We must relate to an overall design structure. We have found in our work in rebuilding Philadelphia that a central design idea, well developed and clearly expressed, can of itself become a major creative force and can make more meaningful the work of individual architects in various parts of an area. The mature resolution of the Center City Plan is not the work of one man. It is the cumulative effect of the individual efforts of a great many people over an extended period of time, each one building on the work of the ones before.
An early responsibility of the Commission was the preparation and completion of a comprehensive plan. It details all of the projects and outlines the ideas for the future. There is also placed upon it an accurate price tag which permits its total completion within the present generation. Annually, a 6-year capital program must be prepared which feeds projects into the process of government and allows them to be built and financed on a flexible schedule. Of equal concern is the creation of a wholesome, healthy environment, providing space, variety, and beauty for the enjoyment of every citizen. The Commission works toward these goals with many architects and public groups to bring the entire comprehensive plan to reality. Individual citizens participate in the actual planning and building of their city, too, and work with the Commission. A permanent exhibit is maintained as part of an educational program to help the people visualize the community in which they can live, work, and play. It is visited by more than 1.25 million people each year. Not only Philadelphians, but others from all over the country come here to see what has and is being accomplished. More than 30,000 school children from the parochial and public schools come here for their social studies. As the citizens of tomorrow, they engage in actual planning tasks on a community level today. After many years of design and development, much has been accomplished in Philadelphia, but much more will be done. For example, one of the great physical treasures of the city is the Delaware River. After years of commercial use, it is now destined for new life. In this model for the future, designed by architect Robert L. Geddes, a tree-lined promenade and parking area will be built along the riverbank. A curving boardwalk embarcadero along a mile of the river will connect a series of water basins. A number of piers are to be developed by private builders. A tower at the end of Market Street will terminate the major roadway into the city. The area to the west of City Hall is being developed as a public plaza with a fountain. Provision has been made for 2 levels of pedestrian movement to and from a new government headquarters annex, the Municipal Services Building. The entire walkway system at both levels will connect with the Penn Center Esplanade. An adjacent project will ultimately become one of the nation's great shopping centers and is designed to bring the shopper by public transit, commuter line, or the expressway system into the heart of the city. Subway stations will open into a lower-level garden connected by a concourse with the commuter rail station. At the street level, the shops are to be set back under the building arcades. On the upper level will be the shopping promenade, extending 3/4 of a mile along the street, with glass bridges leading into the major department stores. With the knowledge and understanding gained from solving the problems of the past, Philadelphia is well on its way to becoming a showplace for the nation. The experience and accomplishments of this historic city can provide an inspiration for others. Urban renewal begins with the community itself and the people living within it. To achieve any degree of success, they must work together toward intelligent planning. Each of them must become more responsible neighbors. There is no single ideal on which to pattern any metropolis for the future. The growth and change in our cities is dependent upon the spirit of their people. With imagination, determination, and enthusiastic teamwork by both citizens and government, we can bring form and design to every city in America, creating an environment of pleasure, convenience, and beauty to enrich all of our lives today and leave a rewarding legacy for tomorrow.